Alright, it's been a while since I removed one of these panels here. I'm talking about that panel. Obviously, once you get the windshield wiper arms off, there's 5 or 6 Phillips screws running across. There's one down there, don't forget. And then there's those little clips there. I think there's 4 of them across. And they just kind of pry outward. And then, I can't remember, but I think up there, those I think are plastic push pins. Once I get this out, I'll let you know. Like I said, I think it's 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5, 6, or maybe just 5 Phillips screws running across. Pretty sure this is not attached to it. And then it looks like it should just kind of pop out of here, but as I recall, it was a little more of a wrestling match than you would hope it would be. Yes, there are 6 Phillips screws, at least on mine. There was one more straight down here that I'd forgotten about, but I got it now. So 6 screws and 4 metal clips on that side. The plastic push pin, Christmas tree type things are connected as well. So they should pry up fairly easily. You may also be sort of stuck to the windshield. But this is where I was saying it's not like it looks like it should just lift out, but you kind of got to wrestle it around the hood and the quarter panels. Which makes it hard when you put it back in if you've painted, because these corners get scuffed up quite a bit going back in. Oh, and then you are connected to the washer there, as you see, so I'll have to disconnect that. And then when you have this off, it's a great opportunity to clean under there. You see, as clean as my engine bay is, there's leaves and stuff, evidence. It looks like maybe a mouse was trying to create a little nest in there. Probably the easiest place is just to pull it apart here. There. And then fish it out. Let's see how easy this one disconnects. Alright, yeah, disconnected that side. That way I don't have to dig this piece out. This is all I had on hand in gloss black, surprisingly. I usually have black plastic and metal paint and engine paint and so forth, so I don't know why I don't. But anyway, I'm going to try this. If it starts messing up, then I'll stop and go get some proper paint. I'm going to paint the arms, and of course the rubber trim just popped right off, no biggie. I've cleaned it with isopropyl alcohol twice and with paint prep once. Prior to that, I did clean it with lacquer thinner. You can sand probably with maybe as low as a 400. I wouldn't go lower than 400, preferably like 600 or 800. Just to try to smooth those out if you need to. Mine do have a little bit of texture. I'm not going to worry about it. I'm just going to paint over it. This, obviously from the factory, has texture, so you want to keep the texture. I've been shaking this up like crazy. Should be ready to go. Painting is just basically trying to lay a nice smooth coat. In my case, I'm trying to, 1, make it a shiny black, but 2, cover up the silver overspray from when I painted the car and didn't realize that the masking had slipped off. And I may only do 1 or 2 coats, depends how this looks. Like I said, this is not something that is really all that visible for the most part, so it does not have to look perfect. Pretty good first coat. I'll let that flash, as they say, probably a good 10 to 15 minutes, and then like I said, I'll pick up those arms and try to get them from all angles. All right, first coat. Looks like it came out pretty decent. Not perfect, but like I said, decent. Go ahead and hold these like this and try to paint them. Yes, some of you are asking probably, can you clog those up? It is a possibility. You may have to clean them with some lacquer thinner or pick or something if you do. Knock on wood, I've never clogged up painting. So now that I've said that, this will probably clog them. Alright, I think that's enough black paint. I'll let it dry, flash, whatever you want to call it, for another 15 minutes or so, and then I'll probably hit it with a little bit of clear coat. I'm just going to use the spray can clear. I don't feel like getting out the paint guns and everything, but obviously the paint gun clear would do a better job and last longer. Clear gives it a shine and, more importantly, a little bit of UV protection, so that this won't fade out in 6 months. Alright, I'm going to let that dry overnight before I put that back on, because like I said, when you try to wrestle it into position, those two end pieces usually get scraped up real bad. Alright, not my best paint, not my worst paint. I'll say good enough to throw it back in the car and not worry about it, because honestly, these things, you could repaint them once a year and maybe the wiper blades even more often than that. So, you know, for not sanding and kind of rush job, I think it turned out decent enough. Main issue, of course, was trying to cover up all the silver paint that had gotten on it, and that mission is accomplished. So that's what it looks like. Rubber trim just sits on there, kind of fits into place. There's no magic to it. There's no lock tabs or screws or anything that holds it on. It just sits like that. All right, now remember, as I said before, those little corner pieces do tend to get chewed up. And before I get too far into this, I gotta remember to reconnect the washer line. As you can see, I was talking about, it's really almost impossible to put it in and not scratch up the paint that you just did, because it's just too big. I think it's probably meant for you to remove the hood completely before you take this off. However, that's just not a practical solution for just painting. And then just make sure all your ground wires and everything are out of the way. And snap those clips back on. You have the 6 screws, and they do all appear to be the same size. You can, and I probably should, have painted the screw heads with the same black so they would all match, because now they stand out. But oh well. Like I said, this thing, you know, if you care about how it looks, you could probably repaint this thing once a year, maybe once every 2 years at the longest. So it'll get done again, and I'll paint those screw heads at that time. But anyway, that's how you do it. It's harder than it should be because it doesn't fit back in very easily. Like, I really think if you took the hood off and then did that, obviously that'd be an easier job. But taking the hood off and then getting it back on, lined up and everything, is definitely not really an easy one-person DIY job. And, you know, if your hood is lined up and working, don't mess with it. Trying to get all these little things lined up is not worth the hassle compared to just bending that plastic back into place, even though, yes, you are gonna scuff up some of the paint you just put on it.